Welcome. All right. Well, something fun came in the mail today. So let me show you that first. I've got a bunch of announcements for you. And then I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what we're making tonight. We're going to make a Jingle 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 candy bar holder. Now, I have 3 different sets of measurements for you tonight. And I also have another version of the candy bar holder. And I've got 2 more examples for you, okay? And I'll tell you where you can get your candy bars and where they're on sale and all that good stuff, okay? And I have some jingle tips for you too, all right? But this arrived in the mail today, and I would say towards the middle of October, I earned this award. And I think I announced it on my Facebook page, I think. But anyway, I had earned my $500,000 in sales, and this is my pin. And so there's a diamond for each 100,000. So I've got 5 of those, and I love the box just as much as I love the pin. Look at this beautiful box. And so there's the little latch on it, and it has that elastic. And then let's open it back up. This is the hard part, getting it open. Thank you, everybody. I think I announced it, so it almost feels like old news now, right? All right, so here it is, my $500,000 pin. And also, I had another surprise. I received a phone call yesterday afternoon from Shelly Gardner. She is the co-founder and board chair of Stampin' Up, and her daughter Sarah now runs the company. But Shelly called me on the phone to say hello and to thank me, and it was just so neat. And we had a nice long chat, and it was just really cool. So anyway, when you when you reach those milestones, you get phone calls. So anyway, it felt very, very special just getting that phone call. So wanted to share the pin with you. All right, now just a reminder about the 2023 Country Floral Lane calendar. You can still register, all right? You can still sign up. You have until January 11th. I can order the product on January 5th, and I'll be shipping it to you mid-January, all right? The kit is $15, and you can add $5 shipping if you want it shipped to you, all right? So I'll show you where you can find that information in just a minute, okay? All right. And so let's see, I've gotten a couple of questions. So I'm gonna reach out. Gail had asked me how many company founders would, oh, I know, right, Gail? How many would do that? Absolutely. I know. So it's very cool. It's just a great company to work with. All right. Laura says, I can't wait until you're able to create your own stamp set. You know what? I don't even know what it would be. I have never actually thought about that. But when you do reach the 1 million in sales, you do get to design a stamp set. So yeah, but the phone call was pretty daggone cool. So, all right, everyone. Okay, now I want to share with you the 2023 shares, all right? So I have an upcoming designer paper share from the brand new catalog, new ribbon, and new embellishments. So you can get just the designer paper share, you can do just a ribbon share, or just an embellishment share, or you can do 2 of them or all 3 of them. So you actually have options, okay, as far as how many shares you want to buy. I think Deborah's right. I need to, it's got to have bees in the stamp set. Absolutely. Okay, so I want to share the product share with you, for lack of a better word. And I'm going to go over the details, and then I'm going to show you where you can sign up. Now, I cannot accept payment for the shares until January 5th. So all you have to do right now is to reserve your shares so that they can be ordered, okay, on January 11th. First and foremost, many of you know that my shares come in a white box. And I need to order some of those white boxes, but I'm going to show you the in color share box that we did last spring. And I'm going to zoom out a bit. So this is the white pizza box. All right, so I always put the shares in this. If you get a paper share, you get a box. And it'll have a beautiful label. And the label is going to be this on top of your box, okay? So this will be the label on top of your white box if you're ordering the paper shares, okay? I need to order boxes, and I didn't have a chance to go to the copy store today and pick up the labels, okay? So anyway, that's what your label on your box is going to look like. Okay, so now let's talk about paper, all right? You get a sampling of every single designer paper and specialty paper in the catalog, okay? So you're going to get a total of 178 sheets, all right? 178 sheets. And you're going to find that there is a divider. So let's look over here. I'm just gonna draw right from the front of the deck here. Okay, so with each paper share, you actually get a divider with the information on it, okay? So you've got your paper name, you've got the item number, and the cost if you were to buy a full package. It tells you the name of the catalog, the page number, and what's included if you were to buy the full package. And then you also have your coordinating colors for this particular paper pack, okay? So it's 178 sheets, which I did show you some of this paper yesterday. I cut it all down to 6x6 paper, okay? And the total for your paper share is $70, and it makes it about 40 cents a sheet, okay? So that'll just give you an idea. And the box will be not much bigger than this paper. This is a 6x6, so the box that I buy will be like an 8x8 box, okay, for your paper to go in. But these dividers are amazing because it has all this information if you want to reorder, okay, or if you want to know the coordinating colors, all right? So that's the paper share, and it is 70. And now I'm going to show you ribbon. So this is the ribbon from the new catalog. You'll get 2.5 yards of each ribbon. Here's another ribbon as well, okay? The dividers are very helpful, absolutely. All right, so they're 2.5 yards of each ribbon. So it's actually 12.5 yards, okay, of total ribbon. Now you're going to notice that I have the year up here in which catalog, and then you're going to notice the item number on the ribbon. I do that for easy reordering. You may love this navy ribbon so much and you use it all and you're like, you know what? I need a whole roll of that because I used all of that. So this is a great reference point for you when it's time to reorder that ribbon. All right, the other nice thing about about any of the shares, and I'm just going to pop this in right now, you know, things go on back order and we can't order them. If you have the paper share, the embellishment share, and the ribbon share, you don't have to worry about the back order because you've got a sampling of each thing in the catalog, okay? Now, I'll explain. This is the Pale Papaya Faux Velvet Trim. This is really thick to wrap, and so I wanted to wrap it on a larger card. I've got the title right there. By doing that, it frees up the space here and it spaces the ribbon out really nicely. So 12.5 yards of ribbon. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I think it's more. I actually think, and I don't have my calculator, I think it's more like 15 yards of ribbon because I forgot to count both of these. They're a combo pack and I forgot to count each one of them. So anyway, $20 for your ribbon, all right, for all of the ribbon that you see here. It does come in the clear acetate box. And yes, this does come in the clear envelope, okay? So the way you see a package is the way it's going to arrive at your door, all right? Now we have the embellishment share, and this one is a doozy. There are a ton of embellishments in the catalog, all right? I had no idea. Now, each embellishment is wrapped individually in its own cello bag. You've got the name of the embellishment and the item number for easy reordering. These are the pastel sequins that go with the Country Floral Lane. And these are the enamel stickers. Look how big they are. So that's enamel stickers. And then you're going to get 5 of the dragonflies. And you're going to get a half a package of the flat pearls. So unless I tell you, you pretty much get a half a package of each embellishment. Here are the opaque gems, half a package of the iridescent gems. Notice the item numbers. Half a package of the milky dots. Half package of the gold faceted sequins. Love these things. I cannot wait to use them. These are the studs. Again, notice the item number. It's a half package. And half a package of the enamel dots. All right. So I have it written down in my notes. Of course, my notes aren't in front of me, but I'll share it in a minute. They're like, I don't know, 500 embellishments. The total for all of your embellishments is $40. Now, currently, I have them in a 5x7 Ziploc bag. I may change this and put it in an acetate card box, all right? Sometimes I like to do that, okay? So those are the 3 shares. You can buy all 3 of them, or you can buy 1 share, 2 shares. It's just whatever works for you. Yeah, it's a ton of embellishments, Melissa. Absolutely. Now, I want to show you where you can find this information. All right. So I'm going to switch over to me for 1 second and let me get my computer. All right. And I am currently right here on Facebook. And I'm going to head over to www.becreativestamping.com. All right. So that is my blog address. And now you're going to come to the page with the shares. All right. I'm so glad you like the shares. Thank you so much. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of love put into all the packaging. Now, this is going to tell you all about the shares, which is everything that I just told you, okay? The designer paper and specialty paper, it's 178 sheets, and it's $70. It makes it about 40 cents per sheet. And the ribbon share, I can already see that I've got a typo here. I have 2.5 yards. No, it is 2.5 yards of each ribbon. But I think there's more like 15 yards of ribbon for $20. So that's going to change the price there. I forgot to add a ribbon. Okay. Embellishments, there are 646 pieces for $46. All right. The mini catalog product share timing. This is how it's going to work. You do need to register by Wednesday, January 11th. That is the very last day. And payment will be due that day as well. And they will ship to you on Tuesday, January 31. Now, it is my hope that they go out probably 3 or 4 days earlier, but I just put that there so it would give me some wiggle room. All right. All right. So the deadline to order is Wednesday, January 11th. Now, to reserve the product shares, because remember, these products aren't live yet, so I can't sell them to you. So you can only reserve the product shares and pay for it from on January 5th to January 11th, all right? So this is what you do to reserve your shares. You're gonna click the word here. See that? It is right there. All right, so let's click the word here and let's see what happens. Ha! This is a form for you to fill out, all right? So again, it's all the same information. Every bit of it is all the same. And when you get down here, you see the word next. You need to click that so that you can fill out the form. So let's click next. And it says here, you must live in the U.S. to participate in my product shares. Per Stampin' Up! Policy, I'm not allowed to accept payment until January 5th. There's your registration, deadline to register, and product shares ship. And here is where you're going to start checking off the boxes, all right? If you want all three, you're going to check all three boxes, okay? I am getting good at this computer stuff, Gail. It's trial and error, I guarantee it. All right, let's say you want the paper share and the embellishment share. Then you just click those two boxes, okay? So click 1, 2, or all three boxes. I will need your first and last name. I will need your email address. And I do need to know how you would like to pay. And I will send you the appropriate invoice, all right? I need your street address so that I can mail it to you. So this is going to be your mailing address, city and state, and the zip code. And then I always like to know, how did you hear about my product shares? So you can check that off if you don't mind doing that. And then also, are you a demonstrator? Or is this your first time ordering my product shares? Those are just curious things that I like to know. And then be sure to sign up for my newsletter if you haven't done it. And then you're going to click the word submit, and I will get a notification that you want the product shares, all right? Now, are there any questions regarding the product shares? Just let me know and I'll answer those real quick. You're going to find it right here. I just posted this this evening. So it's under becreativestamping.com. That's where you want to go, all right, to read all about it. And you're going to click the word here, all right. Now, here's something else. If I need to ship to you, there is an additional charge. Depending on where you live and the weight of the box, your shipping can be anywhere from $8 to $10, all right? It could even be $12, depending on where you are, all right? So keep all of that in mind. And any questions regarding the shares? So you've got plenty of time to reserve your shares, but if you know you want them, go ahead and reserve them now and don't wait, because you might forget. And then once I place the order, it's too late. So keep that in mind. You received 2 sheets of each paper, Cindy. That is such a great question. So you're going to get 2 of each design, all right? So a paper package has 12 sheets of designer paper in it, and you're going to get 12 of those sheets. They'll just be 6 by 6 instead of 12 by 12. So you will get 2 of each. That's a great question. Anybody else have questions? All right. Yeah, now for those, many of you watching tonight purchase my shares on a regular basis. So this would be a good time to let Cindy know and all the others that are new tonight or who've never purchased a share. Let them know a little bit about my shares. Everything's labeled, everything has an item number, everything is either in a box or a bag. And that's the way you will receive it. It's not just a bunch of stuff thrown in an envelope, okay? And that's really important for you to know. I'm a really organized person. I love labels. I love labeling everything. And so that's kind of where that comes from. And the paper dividers can be a huge help. So if anyone else wants to chime in regarding the shares, that would be wonderful. Remember, we only have this catalog from January to April. And one of the nicest things that I have found, this is from personal experience, I'll have a lot of customers who want to order a paper pack and it's on back order and we can't order it. But I'll ask them, hey, did you purchase the paper share? And they'll be like, yeah, I did. And I said, you have that paper already. So you've got a sampling of it. So that's the really nice part. If something goes on back order, you already have your hands on some of it, okay? All right. Oh, thank you, Margaret, very much. All right, now I want to chat with you about calendars, all right? And I want to show you where you can find the calendar kits, all right? So again, we're on the Be Creative stamping page, right? We're going to scroll down and we're going to pass the product shares and look what's next. These are the calendars. So this is all the information on the calendar, everything you'll need to know along with a video on how to create the calendar. And with this particular kit that I am using, you're going to get a share of this Country Floral Lane product. So this is all the info on the calendar. You have until January 11th to also sign up for the calendar. All right. Okay, let's see. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Oh, the paper packages, Lori. We're talking about shares, Lori, and you'll be able to go back and watch the replay when we're done tonight. But just in case you want to know more about my paper, ribbon, and embellishment shares, just go to becreativestamping.com. All right, this is my blog. Here's all the information you will need. And by the way, just a reminder, to reserve that share, you've got to click the word here, okay, to sign up. And then after you've signed up for the paper share, go ahead and purchase a calendar kit, all right? And who knows, that they may ship all at the same time, all right? So I wanted to give all of you that information. Again, this is in regards to the exclusive product shares that I am offering. This right here is going to be the label on top of your box that your shares come in, okay? So definitely keep that in mind. All right, well, we spent about 30 minutes going over tons of information, and I think we're ready to start now. Anyone else have questions for me? I'm going to move my computer so that I have some room for crafting. And I'm going to move my shares out of the way. And then we're going to be ready. All right. Yeah, I think a lot of you watching tonight have purchased the shares. So thank you so much for that. You are supporting small business when you do that, right? We hear about small business during the holiday season quite a bit. But you really are supporting small business when you do that, and I do appreciate it very much. All right, well, it's time. How many of you have been looking forward to this? All right, so I'm going to show you what we're making, and you can find the Jingle 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 in your mini catalog. All right. And I've got some jingle tips for you tonight, and I've even typed them out for you, okay? And they'll be on my blog later in the week, probably this weekend because I have classes this weekend. So, Okay, so when you open up this little cute candy bar holder, we have a Santa bar. How cute is that? Isn't that cute? Yes, Leslie, it's the very same calendar. Yes. So you already have paid for your calendar, Leslie. So this is the Russell Stover Santa candy bar. This is the one I'm using because it is so festive. And I'm going to show you some others. Okay, are you ready? Here's another Santa candy bar. Jingle all the way. So you'll notice that I have taken all three words that are in the stamp set and I've used them on a candy bar. By the way, this is the same candy bar. It's the Russell Stover. Did you notice that I take a mini dimensional and put it right there, and that will keep my candy bar holder closed? All right. So there's Jolly and Jingle. What do you think? And this one is Believe in the Magic. All right. Did you notice that these letters are popped up? I'm going to show you how to do that tonight. I've got some tips for that, just things that have worked for me. But these are the three candy bars. And tonight, we're going to make the Jolly one. All right. So we will do the Jolly one. Aren't they fun? Wouldn't this be great for your kids' stockings or your grandchildren? Okay, so these come from this set right here. It's in the mini. It's called Jingle, Jingle, Jingle. You've got Jolly, Believe, and Jingle. Now, I loved the Believe because I thought it went so well with Santa. And I also like the Jolly because I also thought that went well with Santa. Of course, I just had to try out all three words. So this is a super fun stamp set. Quick and easy. It is retiring. It does not have dies and it doesn't have a punch. So it's just a stamp set. All right. And Carol likes it. She said it's so darn cute. I'm so glad y'all like it. It was really, really fun to make. All right, now I've got another one to show you that's a little bit different, okay? So, and I'm using a different candy bar, and so I'm gonna have different measurements for you, all right? So you may remember this candy bar. This one I did the presentation in Jacksonville, Florida on the Country Floral Lane Suite. And I made these candy bars as samples for my display. All right, I'm gonna tell you where I got the candy bars soon. No worries, you're gonna find out all the details. So with this one, I use the Almond Hershey bar, okay? So if you notice, the size is very different. So I have measurements for both sizes tonight, okay? So I did that one and I thought, well, I want to make one for Christmas. So let me show you the one I made. This is the one that I made for Christmas. And I used a regular Hershey bar with this one, okay? So there is quite a difference in size because look at this. This is the Almond Hershey bar, okay? It is smaller than the Milk Chocolate Hershey bar. So different measurements. So I have 3 different sets of measurements for you tonight on how to create your candy bars. All right, so are you ready? Okay, I'm gonna share those dimensions with you right after we make them, okay? And don't let me forget, I actually want to, well, we'll make this and then I'm gonna give you some jingle tips, okay, for the next candy bar, all right? So you'll understand where I'm not going to miss anything. I've got measurements for you, jingle tips, and of course we have the 3 different candy bars, okay? All right. So I'm using polished pink. This is what we're going to make now, okay? Does anybody recognize this designer paper? Do you know where it's from? It is so festive. I absolutely love it. Can you make a guess where this designer paper is? And I hope you already have it. I hope you already have it. Anybody want to take a guess? I will give you a hint. It is in the fall mini. All right, so it's in the mini catalog. So keep that in mind. Oh, maybe no one knows. All right, let me show you that paper. Yes, it's in the mini with the rewards. You are right, Diane. That is such a great hint. Great hint. Yes, Leslie. It's celebrate everything. All right. And for those of you who don't know about this paper pack, first of all, it has how many sheets? 48 sheets. And what I love about this paper is, and by the way, it's about to retire. It is a Hostess paper. And here's one of the Christmas ones. What I love about it is it's seasonal. So it has paper for all 4 seasons. So there's another Christmas one, and I want to see if I can find that. Here it is. Oh, I see another Christmas one. This is a great one. Check that one out. Wouldn't that be cute on a candy bar? I'm going to have to try that. So that's another one of the Christmas papers, and this is the opposite side of it. All right. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad someone shared with you. Awesome. And then this one is great for fall. Saw a lot of people use this one during Halloween. So that's why it's called Celebrate Everything, because it's got all 4 seasons in here. There's another one. There's some trees as well. And there's the opposite side. But the colors are amazing. Yeah, so you'll get a lot of use. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's so, so pretty. That could be 4th of July. There's fall. So, yep, Halloween. Oh, look, there's the Halloween pumpkin. So cute. So, I wish I had noticed this paper earlier in the season instead of so late. But this is a Hostess item, and it's $18. So if you were to be a hostess, if you were to place a $150 order, you could probably select this as your free item, but you would have to pay the hostess overage, which might be like $3, okay? But that's what it is, and that's the paper that we're using tonight, okay? Hi, Carolyn, how are you? So we're going to make the candy bars, and then I'm going to show you the measurements. Does that sound good? I'm going to give you the measurements now as well, all right? But then I have printed them out for you too. All righty. So we're going to start with our polished pink, and yeah, I just want to make sure. Is this the same size? It's the same size. Is it supposed to be the same size? Let me see. Let me look. Hang on 1 minute. I'm going to check my measurements so that I don't tell you anything incorrectly. Yep. Okay. So cardstock measures, and by the way, this is polished pink, and it's measuring 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches. Okay, so that's easy enough, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our bone folder and we're going to start curling this paper, okay? Because we want to break up the fibers in the paper. Now, I am giving you the measurements for the Hershey Milk Chocolate Bar. And I will also provide measurements for the almond Hershey bar because believe it or not, they are different sizes. All right, I'm gonna wanna use, oh, I'm out of tear and tape, so let me grab one real quick. Okay. So I like to use this. This is heavy cardstock, and I really want it to stay wrapped around that candy bar, okay? So 5.5 by 5.5. So we're going to take the milk chocolate bar. I know, I love 3D. I know you do. I know you do, Joanne. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap it. And it doesn't matter where you put your seam, okay? And so that's why you wanna use your bone folder. You really need to break up the fibers so you can wrap it around this candy bar, okay? All right. So I wanna do this again now that I have taken the tear and tape off. There we go. And if you wanted, you really could put some score lines in it, but it's not necessary. Now you're gonna notice here, remember I didn't score, okay? So that's not necessarily perfect, but when I put the designer paper around it, you're not even going to notice, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that ribbon. Now you can add the ribbon in two different ways, okay? You can add the ribbon around the candy bar before, I don't wanna, let's see. All right, so you can wrap the ribbon. I see what's holding me up, that flap. Let's go ahead. You can wrap the ribbon around the bar before you do the wrapper, okay? But you can also do this. So either side works. And then I'm gonna take this. This is that organdy glitter, by the way. Y'all know I love this stuff. And then we're gonna slide this one in like this. There we go. Okay, so it's easy either way you decide to do it. All right. And that should be fine. I shouldn't really have any trouble with that now, just staying like that, okay? So now I want to add designer paper. So let's measure the designer paper so that you'll have those measurements. This is 5.5, and this is 4 3/4, okay? So this is not a perfect square. It's 4 3/4 by 5.5. Now I already know that 5.5 needs to wrap around that candy bar, okay? So I know it's gonna go this way. If I lay it this way, I'm not going to see any of my polished pink cardstock, and I really want that to show up. I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to add tear and tape here as well. And before I take that off, let's go ahead and let's break up the fibers in this designer paper. I know, I love this paper. You know what else I like? Look at those gingerbread boys. They are so darn cute. So the more you do this, probably the better you'll be, especially with the cardstock layer, because that's much thicker than designer paper. So now I'm just going to take the paper off and turn it this way. And honestly, it doesn't matter which way you do this either. You don't have to worry about that other seam. All right? You're just wrapping that. All right? And that part is done, and I need to grab my polished pink ribbon. I always think I have everything in my tray and I don't. So I apologize for that. All right. Let's go ahead. We're going to wrap some ribbon around this organza glitter stuff. I love this ribbon, but sometimes it's stiff and it can be a little much to work with. Oh, something else you can do, which I'm going to do right now. You can take a glue dot and I'm going to go under here, okay? And I am going, probably should have done this before the cardstock, but guess what? It's going to work. Now, I've just tucked a glue dot in there just so this will not move anymore, okay? Because the ribbon was just sliding. All right. Okay. And then I'm going to fix this ribbon, make it smaller. All right. And again, this is the polished pink. This is an in color, and it is going to retire, okay? It will retire the end of April, so you don't want to wait too long if you would like some of this color and some of the ribbon. All right, so that part is done. And now we're ready for this cute little tag. And I want to show you where the tags are from because I've used them for all of the projects tonight. These are called the tailor-made tags, and I'm using this small one right here, okay? So that you know, love these. I use them for more than just tags, as you can tell. All right, so I'm going to bring in a stamping mat now. I'm going to move the candy bar to the side. And I am going to get out my Granny Apple Green. Now, one of my Granny Apple Green ink pads is low on ink, so I'm going to use both of them. All right, you'll see what I'm going to do, okay, because I didn't have time to fix it. All right, so in the sample, you'll see here that I have stamped the word jolly, and I've used some festive pearls, which we'll also do. And then I've added this layer, which I'm gonna have to get up and get a little piece of that paper. All right, so here's the word jolly, and you'll notice, let me show you the two stamp sets. This word jolly is just the outline of the letters. This one, this is the actual letters, all right? So now I'm going to ink this up. I'm using both inks. How do you like that? There we go. So we've got our word jolly. And let's see. Yeah, let me grab a strip of paper. Here's just a little strip. And let's see. I need this. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season to be jolly. I'm also using polished pink ink. All right, and I'm going to stamp that right on this. Okay, and then I can actually pop this up, which will make it really fun. I don't know why I'm using my minis. I guess it's because it's the first thing that I grabbed. All right, and then I'm just going to add this right along here. I have to keep looking at the sample, And now I'm going to add dimensionals to this. So we're going to pop it up on the candy bar. I'm going to cut some more of these scraps. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. It's so easy to make, Suzanne. I would love to show you in person. We would love to have you in class. All right, I'm just going to peel off the dimensional paper, and then I'm just going to catty corner this like that. And where's that organza ribbon again? Here it is. I'm trying to decide, do I want to use that or do I want the pink again? Let me look at that pink ribbon again. Where is it? What did I do with the pink ribbon? I do not see it. All right, so we will use this. Actually, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to tie a bow. All right. These are so easy to make, especially if you take your paper and cut it all at one time, cut all your cardstock at one time, cut all your designer paper at one time, okay? And it will be just super easy for you to put these together. Now, I have found with the Hershey bars that they are cheaper to buy in a 6-pack, all right? So you can buy them 6 in a container. I missed the. You can buy them 6 candy bars in one package, okay? So that's going to be the best way for you to order those. But I will tell you something, they've really gone up in price compared to the last couple of years. So be ready for that because, yeah, not cheap anymore. All right, I'm going to take some of my silver festive pearls. These come in soft succulent and they come in red. And I'm just adding these little guys in different places. Makes it kind of fun. And you can use as many as you want. All right. So there it is. There, this is our first Hershey bar. All right. Oh no, we've got to, you know what? We've got to talk to Alexa about that, Diane. I know, Carol, everything has, and I think 6 Hershey bars were $7, which if you think about it, is just a little over $1 a bar, but it used to be a lot cheaper. All right. So here is the festive one here. I'm going to show you those measurements. Give me 1 second. So these are the jingle measurements, okay? And you're going to have it for all 3 candy bars. So at the top, you'll see the almond Hershey bar. Now remember, my almond Hershey bar is this little guy, so it's skinnier. All right, see how much skinnier it is? So this is almond, this is regular, okay? And the next measurement has the milk chocolate bar, which is what we just did. And then you'll find the Russell Stover Santa bar. So I'm going to give you a few minutes if you would like to get a screenshot. You'll also be able to print this from my blog in just a few days. All right? So I'll give you a few minutes. Hello, Rebecca. Good to have you. Jean likes nuts in her chocolate. Hi, Mary Lou. We're using the Jingle 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 stamp set from the mini catalog. You'll find it on page 26. All right. Let me know if you need those measurements back up there, okay? But this is the one we just finished making this with the Hershey bar. Isn't this fun? Absolutely love these. They're such great gifts. Love this paper. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm going to clean my stamps because we're going to be using the same stamp actually on the next project. I'll put the measurements back up for you, and I will get us all set up for that next project. Now the next bar that we're about to make is going to be the Santa bar, okay? Okay. We're just about ready. Okay. So this candy bar, the holder is going to be, of course, totally different measurements. And I'm going to go over those with you now. Okay, I cannot talk. Now, you're going to notice with this candy bar holder, you can only get one candy bar holder out of one standard sheet of cardstock, okay? So if you have an 8.5 by 11-inch sheet of cardstock, you're going to get one candy bar holder, and that's it, all right? So let's go ahead and measure this one. It's going to be 6.5 inches across. Okay, and then it's going to be 5 3/4 inches. Okay, 5 3/4 inches. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is you're going to score. And this is along the 5 3/4 inch side, and I think on the measurements I put the other one. So let me just check those measurements real quick, and I can change it for you if I need to. Yep. All right, so look here. You're actually going to score along the 5 3/4 inch side. Okay, so let me show you that. You've got it on the 5 3/4 inch side, and you're going to score at 2 3/4 and 3 inches. Okay, so every time I ever do my measurements ahead of time, I always mess them up, so I apologize. Make sure we do that right and save that. On. Okay. Alrighty. So now the next thing we're going to do is, of course, we've got to fold these score lines. All right, and you might want to use your bone folder to do that. Okay, Pam, thanks so much for joining us. All right, there we go. Okay. Now the next thing we want to add is our real red layer, along with our designer paper layer. Okay, so let's go over these measurements. And this is going to be 6 1/4 inches by 2 1/2 inches. The real red is going to be, here's a tricky one, 6 3/8 of an inch, and 2 5/8 of an inch. I told you it was a tricky one. All right. So let's go ahead. This designer paper, by the way, is from the Santa Express suite. Okay. Just so you know where this paper is from. Yes, I cut into the trains. They always put my two favorite papers or my two favorite designs on one paper. So it's like, I don't know which one to use. All right. No, great question, Diane. It's shaded spruce. It is shaded spruce. So that's the green we're using, the shaded spruce. All right. Now we're going to take some of our Real Red ribbon. And this is actually from the Real Red and Garden Green combo pack, okay? And I just need enough ribbon to wrap around this, okay? So let's get a glue dot. And I'm going to put the glue dot on the back in the middle. And then we're going to add the ribbon. Okay. And here. All right. So hopefully that is straight. And now we're going to add some seal to this. All right. And then we can attach it. I want to get some adhesive on that ribbon so it stays tucked. And this is where, and I'm going to open this because it'll make it flat. Makes it much easier to put this on. Okay, so that is on, and I always like to add the candy bar. So again, the Santa train bar, I found this at my local grocery store, and I shop at Harris Teeter. They were on sale this past week for $1.25 each. Now you're going to also find them at Target. They're $1.29 each. And you can also find them at the CVS pharmacy and at Walmart. I don't think you will find them on Amazon because they were sold out. I couldn't order them on Amazon, okay? As you can see right now, I'm adding glue dots to the back of the candy bar. That will hold the candy bar in the holder, okay? So you'll find these candy bars. They're very popular right now. You may even find the peppermint bark candy bar. I did not find that one. That one was gone. So that must be a popular one. All right, we're now ready to add this inside this cute little Santa. I might stand up for this. And you want to get it right on that score line. I'm standing up. It makes it a little bit easier for me to see. And that should take care of it. By the way, if you don't have shaded spruce, you can use garden green with this candy bar. Okay, so look at the colors in it. You can go with shaded spruce, real red, garden green, cherry cobbler. You could probably even use poppy parade. Okay, so you've got a lot of options. I am going to take a mini dimensional, and I like to put that mini dimensional right there. And that's what is going to hold the candy bar closed. Okay, so I can peel that off. And I can fold it, okay? And so the first part is done. Now the next thing I'm going to add is going to be a snowflake. These snowflakes are awesome. They are retiring. I think they're still available to be quite honest. We're just going to put it about right there, okay? And so now the fun begins, the stamping. I'm going to set this aside. Again, I am using a tag, and I think I'm using the larger tag. I am. So I'm using the largest tag in the tailor-made tags, okay? Love the tags. Okay. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to give you your first jingle tip, okay? First of all, you want to stamp the letters, the solid letters, okay? We're going to stamp that outline in just a minute. All right, so jingle tip number 1, stamp the word, okay? And then you're gonna align the letter outline with the word and the stamp, all right? So I'm gonna show you what we're talking about. Let's see, let's use Real Red, which is right here. And I'm inking this up. And I am going to stamp about right here. Okay, now notice how the letters aren't straight across. They're kind of whimsical, okay? So I want to point that out in case you thought maybe I stamped crooked, or if you get the stamp set, you might think, wow, I must have stamped crooked. I am going to also stamp a second one, okay? And then I think I'm done with Real Red, and I'm going to bring in the black Memento ink, which I know I brought over here. So why? Hang on, I see it across the room. Okay, so black Memento ink is next. And this is actually jingle tip number 2. You're going to align the letter outline with the word and the stamp. So here's the letter outline. All right. And then I have to stand up and look directly over this stamp. And I'm going to stamp right there. All right, now we're going to do it one more time. And I probably don't even have to do it on this one, but I will. All right, and I like that one a whole lot better. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to stamp another one because I really want that Real Red and black to line up. So I'm going to go back. And then I'm going to take the word Jolly and see if I can line it up just a little bit better. It's really hard because I have my camera in the way. Haha. Oh, look at that. Look what happened. There was the dimensional paper right there. All right, we're going to do it again. And make sure I don't have any paper on my stamp. And let's see if we can do this. There we go. I like that one a lot better. Oh, and you know what? While we have the black out, we're going to stamp "'Tis the Season to Be Jolly." And I didn't realize that I was using exactly the same words tonight on both projects, so I apologize. Probably should have gone with a different one. Okay. Aren't they fun? Third time is a charm, Anita. You're right about that. All right, now here comes some more fun. Are you ready? We're going to cut these letters out. And I have found that, you know, we have 3 different words in this set. And I have found the word jolly to be the easiest one to cut out. Okay? So, our next jingle tip, we want to pop up each letter. So we're going to separate the letters using paper snips. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going in here between the letters and I'm going to separate them. Now, if you do it like this, you've got to keep track of your letters, okay? Don't lose them. All right. So now what I'm going to do is, yep, you guessed it, I'm going to cut out each letter. Now this is certainly optional. You certainly don't need to do this, but I will tell you, it is so cute when the letters are popped up. But you don't have to. These would also make really great gift tags. I almost have that out. Let's see. I know, right? I know. You know, my husband, Tom, he loves to fussy cut, although he calls it sissy cutting, not fussy cutting. So, all right. I almost have this one out. There we go. All right. And I'm just going to trim. I want to get a little bit of that white off. Okay. Now, for those of you who don't like to, you know, fussy cut, you do not have to do this, okay? You don't have to pop it up. Ooh, the alphabet punch would work. If you don't have the word jolly, you could use the alphabet punch, but as far as punching it out, I don't think it would work. Now you're going to notice that my next tip is to use mini dimensionals. So let's look at that. Cut mini dimensionals in half and attach to the stamped word. So that's what we're doing now. Notice how I'm putting the dimensionals on the stamped word, not on this word, okay? So now I'm gonna peel off. Whoops, that was not stuck. So you can try your alphabet dies to see if they work. That's a great idea, Simone. Give it a try, and if it does work, will you let me know? Sorry, these were not stuck very well. Got to push them in there. Okay, so now our first letter. And I actually do like to use the tweezers. All right, and I don't know if you can see the difference on camera or not, but that is a bit popped up. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to take another dimensional. You'll want to do that first. Get your dimensionals. Get them on the actual letter. These can be the hardest part. Yeah, it would have been really nice to have some dies to this, huh? I'm going to take another and I'm going to put it right there. Now, to cut out the letter O, we're not going to cut out that centerpiece because that would be way too difficult. So you don't have to worry about that. I have actually cut the letters for all 3 of these words, and jolly is the easiest one to do. All right. Okay, we'll get rid of that trash. And then I'm going to try and pull up the paper there's one. Well, it was one. All right. And I'm just peeling off the paper now. And as y'all can see, this gets a little tedious, but I love the way it looks when it's done. All right, so there's letter O coming together here. I'm going to take another dimensional and I'm going to cut it in half. I'm sorry, I guess I need to zoom out so you all can see what I'm doing here with the scissors. All right, and I had one dimensional here, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to stick there. All right, so let's find letter L. We have two L's to do. I know, it really does show it off. It's amazing. Really gives it that pop, doesn't it? All right. Letter L's pretty easy to cut out. And then I need to peel off that dimensional paper. Now, you know that we sell the foam strips. I tried the foam strips and they were not that easy. They were a bit wider than these letters. All right, so there's another L. Now let's just start looking. See that? All right, let's go ahead. We'll add a few more dimensionals. Diane says the L she can do. The Y's pretty easy too. I like letter O because you don't have to cut out the center unless you really want to. All right. I'm going to get rid of some of these tiny pieces of paper. All right, another L. Thank you, Mary Lou. Glad you like it. It's fun. This is something you could stamp your letters, and if you like to do stuff in front of the TV, you could cut out your letters in front of the TV. We are almost done. And then I will show you all three of the Santa candy bars again, okay? It helps to have tweezers. I'm just trying to peel that little piece of paper off. And here goes my next L. And now we're going to do Y. This is our last one. Thank you for being patient. Yes, you can skip that on your grandson's bar. He might not appreciate the effort that the labor that you put into making that. So yeah, might want to do that. If you're giving it to a coworker, then you might want to kick it up a notch for sure. But I just had to try it. All right, let's see if I can get this last bit of paper off. As you can see, the minis do not have to cover the entire letter, okay? And that little mini just came off. We'll do another one. They like to come off. Maybe I'm not pushing them hard enough into the paper. All right, and I have one left, so I'm just gonna use it. All right, now I've got to peel the paper off. And, okay, I think I got it. Yep, and letter Y. All right, let me see if there were any other jingle tips. let's see, attach each letter as you cut them out. All right, so here's our little jolly. And now you can see, isn't that cute? It's so fun. All right, so let's get back to the candy bar now, and we're gonna pop this up as well. I think I'm done with the little dimensionals, so we'll get that out of the way. I am using some strips. There we go. All right. I know, it's so fun, isn't it? So if you have the Alphabest stamp set, you could take that, and you could also just pop some letters up there if you wanted. All right, we're gonna use some more of this ribbon. This reminds me of snow, and I just think it lends itself well with this. I could have put this ribbon instead of the red, but it really did not show up like I thought it would. And so that's why I didn't use it. And then we'll take a glue dot and put it on the back of that knot. And I think I'm gonna turn it that way. All right, and let's add some of these amazing adhesive back stars. They're awesome. All right, so these are also part of the Santa Express. Zoom out a little bit. I'm gonna use a big one. Where do I wanna put it? I guess I could put it there. I think I'll put another big one here. And then I'm gonna take it, this is really fun to do, put that little snowflake between the letters. And I'll put one there. All right. So there is our the little snowflakes really add a lot to it. Let me zoom out. I'm gonna let you see all 3 bars again, okay? These are all made with the Santa Express, okay? Oh, my camera is slipping here. That's the problem. Okay, now I have full screen. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe my head hit it. Notice here how I alternated each letter. All right, again, it's with that Santa candy bar. And all of the paper is from the Santa Express. All right, all the paper.